Okay, so we finished the downtown.
We finished downtown. We are going to start with Pablo Escobar tour.
Okay.
During the tour, I'm going to explain you Pablo's life, and also I'm going to explain you each place that we are going to visit.
Okay.
If you have questions, please ask me the questions about the topic that we're talking in the moment.
Okay. So we are starting Pablo Escobar tour.
Yes. We are going to stop. The first stop is the Inflexion Park. It's now a memorial for the victims in the area where it used to be the Monaco building.
What is building?
Monaco. That was Pablo's house inside of the city.
Oh, okay. And what is this place called? Inflexion?
Inflexion. Parque Inflexion.
Okay,
Like
so
inflection.
inflection, those affected. Okay.
Pablo Escobar was born and raised in Rio Negro, Antioquia,
Okay.
which is a little town outside of Medellin, really close to the international airport.
Okay.
On December 1st, 1949.
Okay.
When Pablo was a kid, he was always the troublemaker. He was calling rebellion in the classroom. He was cheating on the exams. He was telling the classmates, don't go inside, let's stay outside, let's go and play. So the mom was working in the same school. She was a teacher, and the dad used to be a farmer.
Okay.
So the mom was receiving all the complaints. Pablo is doing this. Pablo said. Pablo did this. Pablo. So at some point, she faced him like, "Hey, if you're going to do something wrong, don't be an idiot. Don't allow them to catch you. You know.
Wow.
So you better do the best from you. You know, you need to be the best one doing whatever you want."
Oh,
so he grew up with this mentality.
That
It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, but you need to be the best one.
Oh.
So then the mom was transferred from Rio Negro to Envigado. Envigado is another town next to Medellin. You don't feel the difference when you're passing between cities. In Envigado, Pablo started a really close relationship with his cousin Gustavo. With Gustavo, they turned immediately like into best friends. They were all together, all the time together. In the same neighborhood, he met Victoria Henao, that later turned into his wife.
Okay.
So the wife was a neighbor. And when Pablo was a teenager and he finished high school, he tried to join the public university. But here, for joining the university, you need to do like a test.
Okay.
So he failed the test, and the mom subscribed him into an accounting school. He was always making an excuse for not attending to the class. He was telling the mom, tomorrow there is a strike, the teacher is sick, it was raining. Any excuse for not attending. This was a private college, so the mom noticed that he was skipping classes. And the mom told him, like, hey, what's going on? Why you don't want to go? And he said, because I want to be a millionaire, and as an accountant, I'm not going to be a millionaire. And if I'm not a millionaire when I'm 30 years old, I'm going to kill myself.
Wow.
So he promised this to the mom. He quitted the accounting school, and with Gustavo, they started their first business, which consisted in they were buying totaled cars from insurance companies. And then they were stealing the same car, same color, same model in the streets. Then they were exchanging the VIN number and the license plate and reselling the stolen car with the documents of the crash one.
Wow.
They were telling the people, we fixed them. We fixed the car.
I see.
But they never fixed the cars. They were stolen cars. Of course, stealing cars is something that everybody can see you stealing the car. They can capture you pretty easy. So that happened. In 1974, Pablo Escobar was captured, and Gustavo also, for stealing cars. I'll show you a picture.
Pablo's first picture in the prison in 1974.
Yes, and this was in 1976.
Okay.
Only 2 years after. You can tell the difference in the expression in the face.
Yeah. Wow.
So, the prisons, especially in South America, they should be, like a place for correcting people.
Right.
But in reality, prisons are like another school for bad stuff.
Right, yeah.
So inside of the prison, he met people that were telling him, Pablo, you're not going to be a millionaire stealing the whole cars. They're going to capture you every time. The real money is in the auto parts. Because nobody can track a mirror, a radio, nobody can follow.
So what was the real thing in where? No. What did the other people tell him?
Don't steal the whole car.
Oh, just a part.
Parts.
Oh,
Yeah,
just a parts. Okay.
So after a few months in prison, they were released, and they started committing these crimes, stealing the radios, the mirrors.
Okay, radios and the mirrors of the cars. Okay.
And in one opportunity, they were about to run away with the radio of a car. They were captured by the bodyguards of the owner.
Okay.
Without knowing, they were stealing from one of the biggest smugglers in the city of Envigado.
Ah, okay.
This guy was smuggling cigarettes, electronics, and alcohol.
Okay.
The bodyguards presented Pablo and Gustavo to the boss. Like, boss, we captured these guys. What we should do with them? Should we kill them or what? And the boss did like a little interview, like, are you conscious about the huge problem that you have now that you were stealing from me? And do you know who I am? Pablo was always like, I don't care. So he was like, I don't know who you are. I don't care. I'm just making a living. So this guy was amazed with Pablo's attitude. He said, like, you're really brave because you are coming here to my house
and still not afraid.
You are not afraid, and you are accepting that you were stealing from me and you don't care.
Don't care.
But I like your attitude, and I need people like you. He was saying like people with big balls,
Right.
brave people. So instead of receiving a punishment, he got a job opportunity.
Wow.
Pablo and Gustavo, they started working as bodyguards for this guy. Slowly, Pablo was gaining points inside of the organization because he was always
Smart.
providing good ideas about where to go, how to escape the police, better routes for moving the goods. He got a position called, that we call it in Spanish, La Mosca.
Mosca.
La Mosca means, in English, fly. This little enemy, fly. And his job consisted into driving in a regular car in front of the convoy of trucks, checking if there is police checkpoints or not. And this is the moment when the famous phrase "plata o plomo" comes from.
Plata or plomo.
Plata o plomo. That means
money or
bullet or bullet.
Yeah.
You take the bribe, or we are going to kill you. Basically, Pablo Escobar was doing the intelligence about the police officers working in the area. So when the police was stopping them, he was like, "Good morning, Officer Gomez. How are you? And how's your wife?
Right.
She's already out of the hospital." And the officers, they were shocked. Like, how the hell do you know about my family and everything? And then he was like, "Okay, plata o plomo. You take the money, or you know that I know your family." So this was the way for skipping the police release. Of course, the police, they were afraid, they were scared. They said, okay, we prefer to take the money and not deal with this. So Pablo turned really popular inside of the organization. Then, during a party, he met Griselda Blanco. Griselda Blanco. She was known as the queen of cocaine. She was a narco trafficker before Pablo Escobar. She was super rich, and she was controlling the business in Miami and New York. Pablo was amazed. Who is this lady and why she is so rich? What she's doing? We want to do the same. Let's do the same because we can make more money. So the boss told him, like, Pablo, she's in the cocaine business and leave her alone. I don't want to be involved, with U.S. government, DIA, CIA, FBI. No. I prefer to keep doing whatever I've been doing my whole life is the contraband. So Pablo was with the idea, like, if she can do it, I can do it also. If she's rich, I can be rich. But he was every week telling the boss, like, boss, let's do the cocaine business, let's do the He was like, no, no, no. At some point, he was so annoying with this that the boss told him, you know what, go ahead and talk with Griselda. If she gives you the opportunity, you're free to go and work with her. So he started communications with Griselda, and Griselda, she was knowing about them. And, good comments about Pablo and Gustavo, so she hired them as drivers, transporters. Their first job consisted into driving from Medellin to Peru and Bolivia for bringing the paste of coke. The paste of coke is the main ingredient for making the cocaine.
Right.
Basically, it's the substrate of the coca leaf.
Right.
Why Peru and Bolivia? Because during those years, they were the only countries in the world with the amount of coca trees that they were needing. So they were traveling, bringing the paste of coke and finishing the process here for turning into cocaine. Then Pablo got the position as coordinator. As coordinator, he was controlling also the transportation of final product here inside of Medellin. In one opportunity, a truck was stopped by the police. The drivers, they tried to bribe the police. The police didn't take the bribe. They captured them. And they called Pablo from the prison. Pablo, we have a problem. We need more money. We are in the police station and we need more money for bribing the whole police station. In that point, Pablo Escobar was a little bit innocent or stupid. Pablo and Gustavo, they went to the police station with $10,000 and they tried to bribe the whole police station. Of course, the officers, they say no. And now you're captured for bribe attempt. And because you are here trying to save these other guys, that means that you're friends, that you are a narco trafficker also.
Right.
So Pablo, Gustavo, and the other 4 guys, they were captured for narco traffic and bribe attempt. That's the moment when they took the second picture of Pablo, where he's smiling. That picture is famous because he was smiling. Do you know why he was smiling?
No. Why is that?
Because he was working for Griselda Blanco, one of the most powerful ladies in the world. So he was sure that it was going to be a matter of days or months
before he'll be out.
Yes. And that happened. 6 months later, Griselda Blanco moved influences and money, and he was released. But same story, inside of the prison, he met people that told him, Pablo, you are not going to be a millionaire if you are just the driver.
Right.
You need to be part of the chiplets. So when they left prison, they talked with Griselda. Griselda, we have some savings. We want to invest in a chiplet. So she gave them the opportunity. And with the profit of the shipments, they started reinvesting and reinvesting.
Profit of what?
Of the shipments.
Shipment.
Yeah, they were sending the cocaine, and then the money was coming into Colombia. And the money started coming.
Right. So you're reinvesting the money.
And reinvesting the money, more money coming. At some point, they told to Griselda, we want to be also producers. We know the providers, Peru and Bolivia. We want to have our own laboratory. So she sold them a laboratory. And in this laboratory, they met the 3 brothers Ochoa Vasquez brothers. They started working together, and Pablo was producing his own cocaine.
So those brothers are from Medellin, or they're those are the brothers that he killed in his home, right? No.
Those are different.
Different one. Okay.
So they were other partners.
Okay. So they started working together. Okay.
So they started working together. Pablo opened the market, and he was cooperating at the very beginning with the Cali cartel.
Okay.
Also, he was providing cocaine to Gonzalo Rodriguez Gacha, aka the Mexican. This guy was Colombian, but he was a narco trafficker. He was in love with the Mexican culture. So he was eating rancheras and eating tacos the whole day. So that's why they call him the Mexican.
Mexican, but he's not Mexican.
No, he's Colombian. And Carlos Leder. This guy was a pilot, and he was half Colombian, half German. So that's the moment when the Medellin cartel was created. The 3 brothers Ochoa, Gacha, Leder, Pablo, and Gustavo. 7 people.
Mhm.
Everything was running perfect. The money was coming. And in Medellin, we had a boom in the construction. A lot of new buildings started appearing. And at the same time, a lot of people driving fancy cars, throwing money, doing parties like crazy. That the government was like, what's going on here? Who are these guys and why they are so rich? They start calling them the magicians. Magicians, that like a magic trick. From poor to rich in one day. You know. So they were following some of them and they realized, oh, the narco traffic came into Colombia. Immediately, the US government, they said, that's a crime in Colombia, but it's also a crime here.
Yes.
You need to capture those guys
And they give
and
it to
send them
give
here.
it to us.
That is called extradition.
Extradition.
In that moment, we didn't have a law that allows the government to do that. So they started proposing to create the extradition law. That's the moment when Pablo Escobar said, I prefer a tomb in Colombia than a prison in the States.
Yes, right.
And he started moving influences, money, and people trying to stop the law. Nothing was working. And seemed, like the law was going to be created. By the year of 1978, he was already rich, and he built the Monaco building, his home inside of the city. We are about to arrive.
Okay.
Then, when nothing was working for stopping the law, he said he thought that the real power in Colombia is in the politicians. If you have the power in the politics, you can control whatever you want. That's the reason why he started his political career. He was doing something that the government never did, helping the poor people directly. So he was giving money to the poor people. He built soccer fields. He put illumination into the existing ones. And the most important, he built 700 houses and gave them for free to the poor people who were living in the middle of the garbage, in the dumpster. So imagine for one moment, your grandparents, they are eating garbage, living in the garbage, and one random guy comes, hey, right here you have a house for free. Of course, you are going to love him forever. Your family are going to love him forever, and generation by generation, this is going to be like trees. So these people started loving him forever. Of course, he changed the life of the family. Then when he ran as a congressman in the Congress election, he was elected with the highest voting rate. Okay. These people who were receiving the benefits, they went voted for him. Of course, Pablo Escobar, he started attracting more attention because he was showing himself as a powerful person. Like people, a person with power and a person with the support of the people. So immediately the people in Bogota, they were watching him like as a threat, because the power in Colombia is controlled by 5 or 6 families. Okay. So they were like, this guy can be the president at any moment. We need to start looking into his past. Let's see what's going on with this guy, why he is so rich. The problem with Pablo is that they were asking him, why you are so rich? And he was always with the same answer. I'm in the construction business. I'm in the agriculture, reselling horses and cows. You need to be like 10 times Donald Trump if you want to have the amount of money he was having. Of course, being a congressman means that you are in the center of the attention. So the Minister of Justice, Rodrigo Lara Bonilla, he was the one who was pushing the most, asking him, where is your money coming from? Why you are so rich? He was always and always with the same answers. When the journalists, they were telling him, there is people saying that you are a drug trafficker. And he was always saying, that's envy people. They don't like what I'm doing with the poor people. They just want to destroy me. This is conspiracy against me. But in reality, he wasn't having like a way to demonstrate that his money was legal. The problem in that moment is when the journalists were accusing him to be a drug trafficker, he was asking them, okay, show me the proofs. Where are the proofs? It's not like today. Today you Google your name and everything will appear. In that moment, no TV, no computer, personal computers, personal TVs, no. No internet. So the director of the newspaper, El Espectador, this guy gave the order to the workers. You are going to check in the files of the newspaper if you find Pablo's name or Pablo's picture. Because I remember this face from something in the past. I remember this face.
Which year you're talking about? 19?
In 1982. In this moment, we're talking 1982. So this guy gave the order to check into the files day by day, and they were checking. Remember the picture of Pablo smiling? That day, the newspaper did an article. This article. The newspaper did. It says 39 pounds of cocaine were confiscated, detained 6 narco traffickers in Itagüí. And right here you can see Pablo Escobar. And right here, this is Gustavo Gaviria. Pablo, Gustavo. So they were checking in the files when they found this. And they were like, oh, look. What they did, they reposted like this. They reposed the original one, and they did a new one that says, in the 76, Escobar was in prison. His picture and a new article. This was the proof that Pablo was asking for. Immediately, the Minister of Justice took this, like this, in front of everybody. This is the proof that you were asking for. You are a drug trafficker. What you are going to say after this? He started saying that this was, how do you say, like a Photoshop of the moment, like a conspiracy or something like that. In order to stop him. But at the end, the Congress kicked him out.
Right.
He was kicked out of the Congress. Pablo was really mad with the minister. And they started threatening, themselves. Pablo said, the minister is having 24 hours for showing real proofs about the accusation he's doing. If not, we will see what's going to happen. What happened? The Minister of Justice was assassinated in Bogota. 2 guys in a motorcycle with a machine gun shot the car, and the minister was killed.
Within 24 hours.
Of course, if you threaten the Minister of Justice in TV and then somebody kills the minister, you are the guilty one.
Yeah.
Immediately, the reaction of the government was so intense. They were coming here to the building looking for Pablo. They started confiscating a lot of properties. Now they were having proof he was an assassin. Okay. Pablo escaped into Panama because the reaction of the government was so intense. In Panama, the General Noriega, he tried to betray him. Pablo discovered this and he jumped into Nicaragua, where the Sandinist movement and Ortega started protecting him. In the meantime that all of this was happening, the CIA was infiltrating Barry Seal. Barry Seal was a pilot, American pilot, working for Pablo. Barry Seal was the pilot of Pablo in Nicaragua. Basically, he took these pictures in Nicaragua, where you can see Pablo Escobar here, and right here you can see Pablo Escobar loading a plane with cocaine. So these 2 pictures were the international proof that Pablo Escobar was a narco trafficker. So now, assassination of the minister plus narco traffic. Pablo noticed that killing the Minister of Justice basically destabilized the whole country. Here, the government was shaking. This was the first time that something like this happened.
Mhm.
And he noticed, if I create terrorism, if I create chaos, they are going to be scared and I can manipulate them
Mhm.
and they will do whatever I want.
Mhm.
That's the reason why he came back.
Mhm.
And in 1984, and the assassination was in 1984. In 1984, with the cooperation of the Cali cartel, they started a war against the police officers.
They started killing police officers.
They were killing police officers, and they were offering $2,000 for every single police officer that was getting killed. We are going to talk a little bit more about that in the park. And now let's talk about this. This area right here on your right is the area where used to be the Monaco building. The Monaco building was Pablo's house inside of Medellin. As you can notice right here in the picture, this was a 7 stories.
Oh, here it was here.
Yes, right there.
So they
Yes,
To
is
break
this
it
true?
down?
So house was right here, and Pablo used to live there.
Yes. 7 stories building with a penthouse where Pablo was living. The rest of the apartments used for guests and bodyguards. 2 basements for the private car collection and 2 pools. It was destroyed by the government in 2019 because of the tourism. A lot of tourists coming here and saying, "Oh my God, look how great it was, Pablo." The mayor say, "That's not the message. The people that needs to be glorified are the victims, not the criminal." So they destroyed the building, and 10 months later, they opened this park. This park is called Inflexion Park. It's a memorial for the victims. Like in New York, there is the 9/11.
9/11 Park, right?
So right here, this is the Inflexion.
Inflexion Park.
So right here, you can see the building in the middle, and this is Inflexion.
Okay.
Look.
Oh, good Lord.
So yeah, 10 months later, they opened the park, and now we can go out, and I'm going to explain you the park.
So this is a place where Pablo had a big penthouse and 7-story building, which blew up by the government and created a inflection part. So people who were affected by Pablo Escobar, it is their memorial. Good thinking. So we don't need to glorify the evil. We need to respect the people who suffered.
In this side of the memorial, we have these columns in order to remember the important people related with the government that were assassinated by Pablo. It's unnegable how strong they were and the pain of every death. We are remembering those who are not here with us in their memory displays December 2019. For example, right here, Enrique Lulmutra, an ex-minister of justice.
Oh, that was the one kid in 24 hours?
No, this was the one later.
The
next one.
Oh,
so the new, after the one that was killed, this guy took his position.
And he was also killed.
And he was also killed. My voice can shake, but never my moral. Basically, he never took the bribe. He never took the money. But if you are not giving the favor to the cartel,
Then
they will kill. Right here, this is the Minister of Justice, Rodrigo Lara Bonilla.
Oh, okay.
This guy was the one who exposed Pablo in front of everybody.
In the Congress.
In the Congress.
Kicked him out.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. To be brave is not to face the fallen in disgrace, but those who believe that in power of the drug trafficking money, those who do believe that in virtue of their great criminal and economical capacity can step over country. And right here we have Luis Carlos Galán Sarmiento. Luis Carlos was a presidential candidate. In 1989, they were running for the presidential presidential campaign. This guy was supporting extradition. He said, if I'm going to be the president, I'm going to create extradition and I'm going to capture or kill the drug traffickers. Of course, he turned immediately into an enemy.
Yeah, because Pablo didn't like it.
Exactly. Justice as liberty and life, we need to conquer them every day. The fight for these ideals never ends. This guy was assassinated in a town called Soacha, really close to Bogota, in front of 3,000 people when he was about to do a public speech. The hitman was waiting under the stage. This stage was in wood, so he was with a machine gun under the stage. As soon as he took the microphone, he was killed.
Wow. Yeah, 3,000. How many? 3,000 people?
46,000.
46,000
6,000.
total.
Total.
Wow.
Right here we have Guillermo Canoizaza. Guillermo was the director of the newspaper.
Mm.
Remember the person who
Oh, that's good.
found the picture? But you are going to notice that he was killed 2 years after exposing Pablo.
Oh,
Why? Because during those 2 years, he was posting new articles and doing new investigations against the cartel. He was putting more pressure on them. And Pablo said at some point, we need to
get rid of
eliminate
it.
this guy because this guy is
Dangerous.
bringing problems.
Yeah.
And right here we have Antonio Rodal Betancourt. This guy was the governor of Antioquia. Antioquia is the department where we are now.
Mm.
Problem with this guy, he was killed by mistake, by accident.
Oh.
The target was the national police chief.
Mm.
But they were driving the same car, same color, same model. The hitmans, they put the car bomb, and this guy drove next to the car bomb first. Hitmans got confused, they activated the bomb, and he was killed.
Mm.
Okay. And right here we have the closing phrase. Further than the fear of those years between bombs and bullets, we kept finding us living and dreaming. We kept alive the hope into the future.
Okay.
We should put that.
Used to be a swimming pool, then soccer field, and this is where the whole building was.
So right here in this side of the memorial, we have these holes.
Uh-huh.
Each hole represents a victim.
Oh.
We are talking that is approximately 46,000 victims.
Wow.
46,000. In the 9/11 memorial, you have names.
Yeah, names.
But you
Right.
have names. Right here, we don't have a space for
Too many people. Yeah. Just as tiny
So,
holes.
the
Yeah.
holes. The idea with these holes, part of the memorial, is that the people come here and they put flowers
Flowers. Okay.
in honor to the victims.
I see. So his mom was with him all the way, right? Because his mom knew that he was doing all these bad things, but mom never stopped him, right?
Correct. The mom, she
Yeah.
was knowing, but she was supportive.
Right.
She was always with him.
Yeah. And wife also was supportive.
Also the wife. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a good life. So
They are not going to conform.
right. ¿Qué significa somos lo que dejamos a
We
lo?
are, we are what we leave to the others.
That's true.
Okay, that.
Demas. Okay. Demas. Okay. The remains of the building that was demolished here.
Right here we have a timeline with most of the most important terrorist attacks. Not all of them.
Okay.
Starting in the 84 with the car bomb against the U.S. Embassy.
Hmm.
They are the ones asking extradition, so boom, boom. From the 84 until the 88, they were paying the $2,000 for the police officers.
Mhm.
564 police officers were killed in
Hmm.
this period of 4 years.
Medellin or the whole
Just in
Colombia?
Medellin.
Medellin.
Oh, wow.
In the 85, Pablo paid the guerrilla group of the M19 to take the Palace of Justice. During 2 days,
Mhm.
they were killing the judges and destroying investigations against them. The government replied with war tanks. They were shooting rockets against the building. The building went on fire and everything was destroyed
This in Bogota?
in Bogota.
Mm.
It seems that the government was also interested into destroying some files and investigations, and that's why they reply with the war tanks for creating the fire. And then they blame Pablo Escobar. In the 88, Pablo was attracting a lot of attention, killing the police officers.
Mhm.
And the Cali cartel, they told him, Pablo, you better calm down because you are bringing attention. The cartel of Cali, the Cali cartel, they were 4 people. 2 brothers, Rodriguez Orejuela,
Mhm.
Pacho Herrera, and Chepe Santa Cruz Londoño. These two brothers, they were business people.
Mhm.
They imagine like a Colombian version of Donald Trump.
Mhm.
Famous, rich, public. They were having an office tower in Cali.
Mm.
They were known by everybody. And they were having a lot of legal businesses, but they were using these businesses for laundering the money of the drug trafficking.
Mhm.
But nobody was knowing this. So they were called the Gentlemen of Cali. They
Mhm.
were super famous. Of course, when Pablo started attracting attention, they were scared. They were like, Pablo, we don't want to be exposed.
Mhm.
Calm down. Pablo said no. I'm following a benefit that is going to cover you, me, and every single Colombian, which is no extradition. If you are not with me, that means
You're
that you are
against me, yeah.
So the Cali cartel say, okay, it's over. We are not going to give more money for you, and we are out. What happens? Cali cartel, they said, we need to do something against Pablo Escobar.
Mhm.
They tried to kill him,
Hmm.
putting a car bomb
Carbo.
right here, so where they are standing, with 80 kilos of TNT.
Oh, right there.
They are trying to kill Pablo Escobar. Okay,
Right there, yeah.
but Pablo wasn't here.
Hmm.
But the family was, because of the explosion.
He got
Manuela,
scared. He got
the
scared.
daughter, she lost part of the audition.
Right.
Pablo,
So is it the same daughter we are going? No, not daughter. We are going to meet sister, not the daughter.
The daughter, she lost part of the audition. So imagine how mad he was. Immediately, he found who was the people who taught the Cali cartel how to make car bombs. This was people from Northern Ireland and ETA, Spain. He paid triple of the money to these guys, but you are going to teach all my soldiers how to make car bombs. And that's how the war started. You are going to see car bombs and bombs against businesses.
Hmm.
The word empresa means company.
Company.
So textile company, Goodyear, so tires company,
Mhm.
another textile company.
Mhm.
Right here, bank, Banco Surameris.
Oh,
Bank.
Hare Krishna too.
Hare Krishna, yeah.
Krishna too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Because
temple.
they were related
Hmm.
with the cartel. Probably this was administered by the Cali cartel
Hmm.
or the Medellin cartel.
Hmm.
Because Pablo was attacking businesses related with Cali, and Cali was replying, attacking businesses related with
Oh,
the
there.
Medellin
Okay.
cartel. That way, they were trying to make damage in the organization, because if you damage the economical capacity,
Oh, yeah.
you go down. So you are going to start noticing something.
Mhm.
Banks
Mhm.
and pharmacies.
Hmm.
Bank, pharmacia, pharmacy.
Mhm.
Then, in one day, 1, 2, 3 bombs against banks.
Bank. Oh.
And then, in January 11, 2, those means 2,
Mhm.
2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5 bombs against pharmacies. And 3 days later, 1 and 2.
Why pharmacy?
Yes, that's the question that the government was doing also. Why pharmacies and banks, how they are related? Okay, the owners of the pharmacies, Cali cartel.
Ah.
The investors of the banks,
Cali
Cali
cartel.
cartel.
Okay.
Owners of other different businesses, Cali cartel. Basically, when the government was investigating and all the threats were pointing to Cali, Pablo exposed the Cali cartel. That was his revenge,
Hmm.
expecting that the government was going to capture the Cali guys first. That way, he was going to have
Safe.
one enemy less.
Mhm.
But he was wrong. The police came first against him, and then against the Cali cartel.
Hmm.
Okay? But the war continued. So, transportation company, the university, discoteca means disco. Imagine you are partying with your girlfriend and then boom. Shopping mall, you are with your kids, with your grandparents doing the regular shopping, boom. Tour agencies,
Oh, wow.
tavern, you are drinking with your friends, and massacre means massacre.
Hmm.
Basically, they were inside and they killed one by one everybody inside of the tavern.
Hmm.
Then pharmacies again. Look at day like August 27. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those
1 day.
plus 2, so 6,
Hmm.
7, 8, 9 bombs in 1 day
Wow.
against banks.
Hmm.
2 days later, this was Cali.
Hmm.
Sorry, this was Medellin against Cali.
Hmm.
So then Cali replied. 2 days later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bombs.
What is Estanquera?
Yeah, Estanco and Estanquillo. Estanco is liquor shop. Big one. Estanquillo is a small
Small
liquor
liquor store. So they were owned by Pablo.
Yes. So as you can notice,
Revenge. Yeah.
revenge. One day,
Mhm.
the other.
Mhm.
Look at the dates. One day later.
Yeah.
One day later. 1, 2, 3. 1 day later. 1, 2 days later. 1, 2 days later. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 day later. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 days later. 1. 1 day later. 1, 2. 1 day later. 1, 2.
Wow, very bloody.
Basically, this was every single day.
Mm.
Now you are going to understand why people from Medellin and Colombia they don't like Pablo Escobar.
Mm.
Living here was
Like hell. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
hell.
Everywhere is bomb. Here. Bomb.
Not you are not safe. Look, restaurant.
So nothing is safe. You never know where the bomb will go off. Yeah.
Because these bombs weren't destroying, like only the businesses. They were killing
People.
people passing next to the cars,
Mhm.
kids, pets, old
Mhm.
people, babies, pregnant ladies, everybody.
Mhm.
Killing the people working in the pharmacies or in the banks, and also people living next to it.
Mhm.
Okay, so basically, this was, the most dangerous.
You can see that 1989 was the bloodiest year. It was most dangerous city in the world.
Everything in 88.
Yeah, the longest
In the
timeline is 89.
84.
Yeah,
84 they
In the
started.
84, they started killing officers,
Uh-huh.
and in the 88 with the bombs.
But half of the wall is 89.
Yeah.
89. Yeah.
In August 1989, they killed the presidential candidate, and a new candidate, Cesar Gaviria, took the role as presidential candidate. And this guy took all the support of the people.
Mhm.
And he said, I'm going to continue Luis Carlos' plan. So I'm going to capture the narco traffickers. I'm going to send them in the
Extradition,
States.
right.
Extradition. So he turned into the new target. He was flying from Bogota to Cali for doing campaign. And the consulars told him, you better stay here because it could be dangerous.
Mhm.
This guy canceled the trip
Mhm.
5 minutes before leaving. The plane left and boom.
Was
7
it
minutes
was it
later,
Avianca?
Avianca plane
Yeah.
right here.
Oh,
An entire plane, Avianca plane,
Avianca.
killing 107 innocent people,
Oh, my God.
including 3 people from United States.
Mm.
So one thing is that I send you cocaine and you die of overdose because your own will.
That's different.
That's different than blowing you in pieces in the middle of the
You
head.
US will not leave you.
Immediately, the U.S. government they said we need to do a military intervention like Afghanistan, something like that, in Colombia
Mhm.
for killing Pablo. But you know that the United States they always are looking for something extra, the oil or the gold or
Oh, yeah.
whatever. So the government say no. This is our problem.
Mhm.
But if you want to help, you can give us the technology,
Mhm.
trackers, GPS,
Right.
planes. But you are not coming here to shoot.
Mhm.
So in that moment, Pablo Escobar lost the advantage in technology that he was having
Mhm.
because he was hearing the police conversations. He was knowing when police was coming, so that's why he was so sneaky.
Mhm.
So when the U.S. government gave this technology to the government, they were in the same level.
Mhm.
So this was easier. Pablo was easier to track on to know where he was. Then in 1990, Cesar Gaviria was elected president. And one of the first things that he did was to create the elite corps of the police.
Mhm.
The elite corps was a group of the best 3,000 police officers, soldiers from the Navy, from the Air Force, the best of the best.
Mhm.
One little army with only one task:
Pablo.
kill or capture Pablo Escobar. Nothing else. Of course, Pablo, knowing that there is an army that's against him, he started attacking them. Camion means truck.
Mhm.
So a car bomb against a truck of the elite corps,
Mhm.
another vehicle of the elite corps.
That means army.
Sorry?
Army. Yeah.
Army.
Yeah, the army. Another car bomb against a police checkpoint,
Mhm.
the whole police station of Poblado,
Mhm.
another vehicle of them,
Mhm.
the whole police station of Libertadores, which is another neighborhood, the main police station of Medellin,
Mhm.
and then gas stations. In 1991, we have something interesting right here.
All the Medellin people.
Mhm.
Right here, you are going to see a break from April 1991 until August 1992.
Mhm.
there is 1 year and some months with no bombs.
Nothing more.
Why? Because Pablo noticed at this point that the government was turning crazy. The poor president was having the pressure of the people,
Mhm.
the pressure of the US government. They
Mhm.
were like, we already gave you the technology, where are the results?
Mhm.
And the pressure of rich people, because Pablo was also attacking rich people. If you are a really rich person in this country, that means that you run a lot of businesses,
Mhm.
important ones. And if I kidnap your daughter, you are going to call the president immediately. You need to do something.
Mhm.
And if you don't do anything, I'm going to stop the economy of the country.
Mhm.
So the poor president was turning crazy.
Mhm.
Pablo noticed this and he called them. I'm willing to make the peace. Let's make a peace agreement. But I don't trust you. You are going to send me in a plane into the States. The only way I can trust you is that I have a constitutional right, because there is nothing more powerful than constitution, where it says that any Colombian can be extradited.
Mhm.
So between having Pablo creating all this terror or having him in prison under certain kind of control, they accepted. In 1991, they created a new constitution and they put it a new article. Any Colombian can be extradited into another country. Okay?
Yes or no?
No.
No,
No.
it cannot be extradited.
Yes.
Okay.
So they
They can send it to US prison.
Mhm. So Pablo said, okay, now I have a constitutional right. Let's make the peace.
Mhm.
I'm willing to go to prison, but
Ah.
prison is going to be for me and my people
Mhm.
in my terrain.
Mhm.
Maximum sentence 30 years. I'm going to be free after completing a third part of the sentence, so 10 years max. No transfers between prisons, and the most important, no extradition.
Mhm.
The government accepted. In 4 months, they built the prison,
Like a
La Catedral.
cathedral.
They went, you know what is called La Catedral? Because from that area, they extracted the wood 100 years ago for making the Medellin's Cathedral.
Oh.
So the wood of the cathedral is coming from that area.
Mm.
But they are not related. It's
Mm.
just the name. And Pablo went into prison for a period of 1 year, 1 month, no bombs,
Mhm.
because he was in the prison.
Mhm.
But being in the prison in the top of a mountain means that you need to give responsibilities to other people in the city.
Mhm.
This was the case of the two partners, Kiko Moncada and Fernando Galeano. These guys were in charge of receiving the money at the airport. One day, they went to the airport, the plane came empty. They called Pablo. Pablo, there is no money in the plane. How come there is no money? I saw the plane landing from the prison. Yes, the plane is here, but it's empty. Pablo started being suspicious. These guys are taking advantage that I'm in the prison for stealing the money. He sent people to a safe house of these partners. They killed everybody and they stole more than the money that was missing in the plane. These guys were really mad with Pablo. They went into the prison and they started arguing. What's going on? Why you are killing my people? And because you were stealing the money from the plane.
Mhm.
They were arguing so bad. At some point, Pablo said, "You know what? Kill them." They were assassinated inside of the prison.
Mhm.
The wives of these guys, they noticed they went to visit Pablo and they never came back. So what they did, they went to the police. They make a report. The police went into the prison looking for them and they found a hole with the bones inside. They burned the bodies.
Mm.
Of course, killing people inside of the prison, that's not part of the agreement.
Mhm.
So they said, we are going to transfer Pablo Escobar to a maximum security prison. This is enough. He was living like a king and now he killed people.
Mm.
And he said, no, that's not part of the agreement. So one night he escaped from the prison.
Mm.
But after escaping from the prison, you are going to notice that the amount of terrorist attacks in 6 months were 5, 10 only.
Uh-huh.
And then in 1 year, there is 11.
Mm.
So having 11 terrorist attacks in 1 year is nothing when we were having 9 in one day.
Mm.
Why there is a reduction? Because as soon as he escaped, in a cartel you have different levels of power. Pablo was at the top. These two partners were before, after Pablo, down Pablo. But down, these guys, there were more people. These other people, they were scared. They said, Pablo was able to kill two of the main partners just because of money. This guy is going to kill us just because.
Yeah, for no reason.
For no reason. This guy is turning crazy. We need to do something against this guy before he kills us.
Mm.
So that's the moment when they created a group called Los Pepes. Los Pepes means perseguidos por Pablo Escobar. In English, is people persecuted by Pablo Escobar. And they started cooperating with the police, with the Cali cartel, with the paramilitaries, with the DIA, basically all of them together against Pablo. There is a phrase that says your worst enemy is that person that used to be your best
friend. Because he knows all your secrets.
So they were calling the police. In this address, there is a laboratory, destroyed. In this address, there is a safe house, confiscated. The hitmen are living here, killing them. Basically, at the end, Pablo Escobar was with no people, with no money, with nobody close to him. He was just alone, hiding, while Los Pepes were killing all the people related with him. They were doing a terror campaign also. For example, they were killing, let's say you are the county. They were killing you, putting a sign in your neck. This happens to everybody working for Pablo, signing Los Pepes. And then hanging your body from a tree or from a bridge, sending a message. If you work for Pablo, we are going to kill you. So at the end, Pablo was alive. So that's the reason why in the 93 there is only 11 terrorist attacks. But remember that in this war, not all of them were coming from Pablo. The last bomb here is Edificio Dallas. This was Pablo's office. So this bomb was coming from the Cali cartel. So last bomb from Pablo was this one in April 1993. He was killed in December. So we are talking about 7 months and a half with no terrorist attacks, with no bombs.
So he was hiding for 7 months.
He was just hiding, turning crazy and paranoid, because in that point of his life, the government captured his family.
So his family was kept in Bogota, right?
Yes.
Was it in Tequendama Hotel?
Yes, Catedral Hotel.
Yeah, that's where we stayed.
Yeah, we stayed
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah.
Yes. So they kept the family in the Tequendama Hotel, and he was turning crazy because the government, the police killed Gustavo in 1990 under torture. So he was knowing if the police capture my family, probably they are doing torture to them also. So he was turning crazy, paranoid, and he started committing mistakes that lead the police to his location. But we will talk more about that.
He went to his father also, right? His father used to live in a farm. Fake? That's not real?
No.
That's not real?
That's not real.
Oh, okay.
They never had a really good relationship. That's truth. But at the end, the father was really far away, and Pablo was just hiding here.
So he never went to father for.
To
Was
find
in
like,
Medellin.
yeah. That's you saw that in Narcos,
Right?
But Narcos is a show.
I know, it's a show.
And,
They have to change.
And they need to make drama. That's drama.
Drama.
Showing you that Pablo tried to look for the forgiveness of the father before dying.
Yeah, but father never forgave. So we are just past the Poblado neighborhood.
Yes.
We are in Envigado, and now we are heading towards the prison, La Catedral. Okay.
And the leaves.
And the leaves.
After they cut the cocoa leaves, they had the gasoline.
They add gasoline. They add acids. They add how you call this, calcium powder, and they mix all of that, and then they cook all this, in solutions, and then they drain. It's a really long. It's a long process. Yeah, of chemicals. Yeah. Then they dry it, and from this is the coca paste. Remember
paste?
Coca
paste.
paste.
Coca paste. It looks like a white chocolate.
Yeah, they make coca paste. So
Okay.
So then they need to add more chemicals to this and do another cooking process. They melt this again. They refine process, and then they have the powder. It's a really long process. A lot of chemicals.
So we are at the entrance of the La Catedral. Entrance of the Pablo's own jail, La Catedral. So guys, this is Dr. Rakesh. We are at La Catedral on the top of the mountain at Pablo Escobar's own jail that he built for himself. So our friend Nikolai is going to take us through it. Okay, La Catedral. Antes means before, right?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
So right here we can see a before and after in the place. You can see the structure of the prison and the hill is the same hill, but this structure is gone. The original is gone. So the original structure used to be right here in front of us where the parking lot is. Okay? When the prison was abandoned, the treasure hunters were coming. First treasure hunters were the army. They were smashing walls, digging
Oh,
holes.
they want loaders.
Exactly, looking for money.
Money.
Supposedly Pablo Escobar was borrowing money and hiding money in the walls, but they never found anything.
found it.
Then when the area was abandoned, the people from Envigado, they started coming here for doing the same. In the remains of the prison, they were destroying the little pieces remaining. At the end, nobody found anything, and the structure just collapsed. Then the city hall of Envigado gave the terrain in concession to this group of monks, Benedictine monks, this is the director, for building this housing that is over there on top, for providing assistance to the old people, and poor people, okay? So in the area where used to be the soccer field, now you can find all this housing, okay? And now let's talk about the past. In the past, this was Pablo's room, kitchen. Look at the desk, the king size bed, the TV. He was this TV. He was having TV in his own cell, supposedly. So you can see couch here, artwork.
Very luxurious jail.
Yeah.
Pool table.
Pool tables, ping pong, roulette. This is the dining table, which is this one, the same one. Little chapel. This was a room for the rest of the prisoners. In this prison was 14 people only. Pablo and 13 more. So the other people were sleeping in these cells. Little dining table, little couch, and a bed, and a private bathroom. That's it. It's the same desk, Pablo's son, Pablo's daughter, Pablo in the same desk. Look at the picture, a frame of his pictures in prison. He started growing his beard, you know, trying to escape or not being identified. Pablo's wife visiting him, Popeye, another hitman, a prostitute. Pablo celebrating a birthday inside of the prison with his wife and the daughter. And this picture, they used this picture for showing the world that supposedly he was in a real prison. So he took this picture in a fence like that one. You know, like that gate. Like take me a picture like I'm in prison. And he was, you know, holding the bars like this. So they took the picture and they showed this picture to the world. He's officially in prison. But nobody was knowing that this was a 5-star hotel.
5-star prison.
Resource, yeah.
So these pictures are about the prison when it was abandoned. You can notice all destroyed.
Okay.
So let's go that way.
60 old people lives in that
So now it's
area.
like an old people house.
Correct?
So basically, we are turning the tragedy into good thing. Is that, you know, bad thing happened here, but now good things are happening here.
Correct.
So basically, whatever you see is not Pablo Escobar construction. Whatever he built has been demolished. So whatever you see is built by this foundation. As you see that foundation Santa cut through this for the old people. So none of this is built by Pablo Escobar. This is just the location where the jail used to be.
Same time he was using Twitter for threatening people and, you know, like like attacking people. So when you start attacking important and powerful people, they don't like it.
So probably he got
So-
killed in
We believe that he was
murdered.
poisoned.
He was murdered,
Poisoned.
poisoned. Okay.
Yeah, because in a matter of 2 months,
Yeah.
he turned from a regular person into a skeleton.
Oh.
From here, we can see the city of Medellin, and right there in the left side, do you see that green field?
Yes.
That's the local airport.
Oh. Okay.
So from here, he was having direct view to the local
Oh,
airport.
he can see the plane landing.
Exactly.
Oh, money pass.
So he was having a person dedicated 24 hours to do surveillance of the airport with a telescope. He was knowing when the planes were coming, and also when the mayor was leaving or the president was coming. He was knowing all the movements of the city. Do you see that little house right here in front?
Oh, on the
mountain.
That's the house where the family was living during the year that he was here.
Oh, so he
So
killed.
they were greeting each other, and seeing each other from here. Because in some way this was like a legal prison, so the visits were only
Limited.
Wednesdays and Sundays. The helipad is original. When Pablo did the agreement with the government, he came using the helicopter of the government. Okay, so he gave the location to. He was a priest, and the priest went with the helicopter. They picked him up in the middle of the countryside, and then they came here. So Pablo came into this helipad, and he walked all these steps up. The prison used to be right here.
So these are the original steps. So they did not demolish. So Pablo came in the helicopter here and
So
he
now
walked
who
up here.
lives in that houses? Government?
The government, after everything happened, they
Jail used to be here.
basically confiscated all the properties, that house, and then they put it in action. Also with this terrain was split it, and they sold. You can see right there is a sign that says lots for sale. So that people are selling the plots that they built, that they bought during the auctions.
Oh, okay. So we can go down there?
If you want, yes.
Yeah, let's. So we're walking down to the helipad, the famous Pablo Escobar helipad, La Catedral jail. This is the helipad. These are the steps towards La Catedral. That's where the jail used to be. And look at this beautiful mountain. And that's a beautiful city of Medellin. And on the other mountain you see where his family used to be living.
So right here we have the escape route,
Mm-hmm.
and as you can notice, that's an original surveillance tower. Of course, during those days, this was all covered by the jungle.
Uh-huh. Oh.
They
This is a
removed-
Pablo Escobar.
They removed the ladder, avoiding that the tourists, they don't go up and they don't.
Oh, from there
fall.
they were used to keep eye on that airport.
Exactly. No,
Okay, this is
this
where he
was
escaped.
only for the prison,
Okay.
but for the airport, they were having this house over here. Look at the wall that used to be here.
Oh, there was a wall there. Okay. Oh, so from there he used to keep eye on the airport and everything. Okay.
The wall
Mm-hmm.
that they, instead of using concrete, they used plaster.
Oh.
So when the day of escaping came,
Mm-hmm.
they just kicked down the wall fell, and they stopped
Oh,
running.
they're running. Okay. And who was with him when it?
They were 14 prisoners,
Uh-huh.
and around 8 of them they left,
Mhm.
and the other stayed because they were, telling the government like,
Oh, he's
stay there, we
Yeah.
will talk with you,
Alright.
like making time.
So they killed those people who left. Yeah. The government killed them, right?
Pablo, Roberto, that's the oldest brother, and Popeye, they were together escaping.
They escaped, but everybody else sacrificed themselves. They knew that they will get killed.
Or capture and transfer to a maximum security.
Yeah.
This is enough.
This is enough, yeah. So that goes long way back, but we're going to stop here. This is the escape route.
Of the mountain.
So he walked this trail for 3 hours, went down the mountain, and the other side of this trail, he had a car waiting for him in the town called Caldas. So the steps are original, but the building is not original.
Pablo's room used to be on top,
His room used to be on the top there.
and that was the first one that was destroyed.
Oh,
They
because everybody thought there's a lot of money there.
Exactly.
But he was smart enough not to keep money with him.
Probably some of them they're still working,
Right.
but at the same time, you don't know the condition. You know,
Yeah.
the humidity under the ground is really deep.
Yeah, 30 years. He died in 94, right?
He died in 1993.
93, okay. So what happened to Pablo's family after he was killed?
So the Cali cartel told them that you need to pay back all the money we spent killing Pablo.
Mm-hmm.
They did an agreement. So the family gave all the properties, the luxury stuff, the paintings,
Mm-hmm.
in order to pay this debt.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they were asking the Cali cartel to give them new identities.
Mm-hmm.
So they got new IDs, new passports with different names,
Mm-hmm.
and they left the country. They went into Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
In Argentina, they were trying to start a new life
Mm-hmm.
with a lawyer, and the lawyer was knowing the truth.
Mm.
So this lawyer started blackmailing them,
Oh.
asking them money.
Mm.
They weren't having money, so the lawyer went to the police and basically snitched, you
Mm.
know. So they were captured. They went to prison for around 9 months
Okay.
for using fake documents.
Okay.
And after that, they asked the refugee status.
Mm.
So they got it.
Mm.
So basically now they are living legally in Argentina with different names as refugees.
Mm.
And the wife, she already wrote like 2 books,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and the son wrote 3 books.
Mm-hmm.
And they are doing conferences around the world, promoting the books, and also like giving a message, you know, like how not to be like my father, for example.
Okay.
So that's their
Source of income.
their presence, yes, the income. Manuela, the daughter, she's out of the radar.
See what?
She's out of the radar. She's not giving interviews,
Oh, okay.
or
So
she's not.
she has nothing to do with Escobar family anymore.
Well, she lives with with her mom and the brother,
Mm-hmm.
but she doesn't like
Interviews.
interviews or to talk about that, because when Pablo died,
Mhm.
she was 7 years old,
Mm.
and for her, Pablo was a superhero.
Right.
So imagine the shock when she grew up
Yeah.
and she realized the kind of monster that in reality,
Yes. Yeah.
he
He was very loving father,
and
but
that-
yeah.
so she started suffering depression,
Yes.
and people say that she tried to commit suicide 2 times already
Mm-hmm.
because of this.
Mm-hmm.
So she tries to to stay away about
Right.
the
Talking
interview,
about
not talking about Pablo. That's the reality there.
Yeah. So we are in the San Rafael neighborhood, heading towards the cemetery where Pablo Escobar and his family is buried. That is where the La Catedral is. That is where we came from that mountain, and now we are in the city of Medellin. So we just entered the cemetery where Pablo Escobar and his family is buried.
And the cemetery is called Jardines de Monte Sacro.
Jardines.
Jardines de Monte Sacro.
Okay, so Jardines means garden, right?
Correct.
De Monte Sacro.
Yeah, like sacred mountain.
Sacred?
Sacred
Uh-huh.
mountain.
Okay.
Or mount.
Mountain. Sacred. Monte Sacred Monte. Okay. This is the cemetery where Escobar and his family is buried. Look at the backdrop. Beautiful Medellin.
So, in what place
This is stone.
We have Pablo's grave. So you can notice Pablo Escobar passed away the day after his birthday, as soon as he turned 44 years old.
Wow.
The phrase, it says, "You were a conqueror of impossible dreams, further than the legend that today you are symbolizing. Few people know the real essence of your life."
Okay.
Luis Fernando Escobar Gaviria was Pablo's youngest brother.
Okay.
He died in a car accident. He was going to be 19 years old. Pablo gave him a car as a birthday gift, also Christmas present. During Christmas Eve, he was so happy with the car, he went out, he was drinking, and he tried to skip a police checkpoint. He lost control of the car, he went into a creek, he crashed and he died. Teresa Vergara Castaño is Pablo's nanny. She was taking care of the kids while the parents were working. Remember, at some point there were like 7 babies, really close between them, only 1 or 2 years of difference. Herminda Gaviria Escobar is Pablo's mom. She died in 2006 from diabetes. Álvaro Jesus Agüero, this guy is Limón, the last man standing, the bodyguard. They were together, they died in the same place, same day, at same moment. The mom said that he was the last man standing, so he deserves a spot in the family grave. That's why he's here. Juan Manuel Escobar Echeverri was Pablo's uncle, so he was the brother of Abel. Abel is Pablo's dad. Pablo's dad, he passed away in 2001 from heart attack. Inés Ofelia Gaviria Berrio, she was the sister of Hermilda, so that was Pablo's aunt. And Gloria Angelica Guarin, she was the nurse of the family. She was taking care of them. These 2 rocks right here on the right, this is natural marble coming from Rio Claro, which is a river close to Nápoles, the main ranch that Pablo used to have. He was in love with that river, so the family, in order to decorate with something that he liked, they brought these 2 pieces of.
So are they actually buried here, or this is
you
just?
understand Pablo.
Oh, we're standing on top of Pablo. So Pablo is buried here.
So whole family is the buried mostly here.
This is.
So whenever is next coming, they break it down and do over there. So then
There is only one space left.
which one?
Well, I don't know exactly where, but there is one space for putting another grave.
That's
Another
inside
tile.
too.
Another tile, yes.
One here and one here. They can add the tile.
So I'm sitting on Pablo Escobar, right? So standing on Pablo Escobar. This is where he is buried. That's where his memorial stone is. And that's where all his family is buried.
We have Gustavo Jesus Gaviria Rivero and José Luis Gaviria Rivero. They were brothers and they were the cousins of Pablo. This is Gustavo, the cousin. They
Gustavo.
were, all the time together.
Yeah.
He passed away in 1990 because the police captured him and he was killed under torture.
It's the same date, December 2nd, 1993.
Yeah, but this was the son of Gustavo. Gustavo Gaviria Restrepo, there is 2 bodies here.
Oh, 2
The
babies.
father and the son.
Son. Oh, okay.
The father was killed by police in 1990 under torture. And Gustavito, little Gustavo, he was killed by Los Pepes in the morning, the same day as Pablo.
Wow.
Pablo was killed in the afternoon. José Luis Gaviria Rivero was killed at the beginning of 1993, also by the government. And Alexandra, she was the daughter of Gustavo, and she passed away 1 year ago from liver issues.